What is going on, people? Mac here. I am about to start standards training, and I wanted to make a video overviewing everything before I get started. So I have PowerPoint about the standards. So a little bit about me. I am a human man, fearfully and wonderfully made, aiming to be a disciple of Christ. If you want to know my full story, you can watch the origin story on YouTube for Logbook, or you can check out my Instagram at Based Legos and have a story highlight there about the background of all this. But long story short, through many phases, health and fitness have been my anchor. I was fat until I was about 14, and then I got inspired to get in shape through sports and bodybuilding. At that time, I knew that I was destined to be a legendary athlete, but I was seeking glory for me instead of for God, so I wasted a lot of time. I ended up in pretty good shape after high school, but I had no direction, so I joined the Navy and went to Buds to get on the right path. I was able to lock in more, and I was introduced to a higher level of standards than I'd previously known, but my ambition was still not wholesome, and I ultimately did not make it through that program. I went back to bodybuilding, and then I also tried new methods of training like powerlifting, CrossFit, and weightlifting after that. And most recently, I started learning about stabilization and joint training. A common factor for good in all of these different aspects of training is that I was training hard and well for something important. The pursuits in themselves were all just a means to an end, just to shape myself more like the ideal. My favorite part of each pursuit was that there were standards to meet. Each of these different types of trainings, whether it's joint protocol, if you look at like athletic training group, they have standards for every joint, how many sets and reps you should be able to do compared to your body weight. And it could probably get way more specific than that, which is the point of logbook and the standards. But then look at special operations like Buds that I went to, you have their standards for getting in to the program in the first place, and then as you progress through the program at every level, you've got like running, calisthenics, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, and swimming. And I know like Marines and Army have other stuff too. For triathlon, you got running, biking, swimming. For bodybuilding, you have the standard of perfectly developed musculature and minimal body fat, perfect symmetry. For powerlifting, you've got squat, bench, deadlift. For weightlifting, you've got snatch and clean and jerk. For CrossFit, you have a number of different WODs for time that kind of incorporate all of these different things. So they each have a unique set of standards. Something that I've noticed over my life and being in each of these communities is that it's easy to get fully invested in one of these methods of training. And that definitely is going to yield better results than doing nothing at all. But it's not nearly as good of results as putting yourself up against an all-encompassing set of standards. So I think everyone has seen the power lifter who, like maybe not even a power lifter, someone who's just really good at bench. And that's like their identity. Many people that one of these training modalities define their personality and would perform at a novice level at another category of training. So like the super heavyweight powerlifters, weightlifters couldn't run to save their life. I guess what I'm getting at is that you can get to the point in these modalities of health where it's not healthy, obviously. You see that in bodybuilding with steroids. I mean, special operations, like the point is to be like a durable human. Um, but even then, longevity is not a huge factor. So the standards, putting it all together, health, cardio, calisthenic, strength. and power. There's no excuse not to be in the best shape humanly possible. There are 5 categories, 4 events per category, each worth 5 points for a total of 100 points. I imagine this could be something like a martial arts belt system for general health, strength, and fitness. So I'm currently at a 39 out of 100 or a level 3 out of 7. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So these are the standards. We've got health with body composition, resting heart rate, max heart rate, posture. And if you look at the scoring system, we've got master down to protege. So master for 5 points, 8% body fat, protege, 30% body fat. So obesity, pretty much. You're a protege. If you're higher than that, you get no points. But if you're 30%, you get 0.25. Resting heart rate, master level is 40 beats per minute, protege 100 beats per minute. Max heart rate, 220 is master, 160 is protege. Posture, master has balanced posture, and a protege has 5 or more imbalances. For cardio, we have run 4 miles, swim 1 mile, bike 8 miles, and row 4 miles. The master standard is 24 minutes, protege standard 48 minutes. For calisthenic, we've got push up, which I'm counting as a handstand push up, a freestanding handstand push up. So 25 of those gets you master standard, 0.25 of your body weight for 5 reps gets you a protege score. Same for pull-ups, same for Nordics, and then we've got LSIT, 230 down to 5 seconds for a protege. For strength, we've got squat, horizontal push and pull, deadlift, vertical push and pull. For squat, we have a standard of 3 times body weight for master, down to 0.5 times body weight for protege, same for deadlift. And horizontal push and pull, we've got 2 times body weight for master, half times body weight for protege, same thing for vertical push and pull. Clean and jerk, 2.5 times body weight down to 0.5 times body weight. Snatch, 2 times body weight down to 0.5 times body weight. Vertical jump, 36 inches down to 18 inches. Broad jump, 120 to 84 inches. So these are the standards, and this is my results on them. 15% body fat. Yeah. So I have 39.75% out of 100. I think these standards are subject to some change for sure, but they're pretty good for now. Maybe these could be a little bit more precise on the strength standards, but ultimately that's the direction that we're headed. So here's my plan of attack. I already tested myself last summer. You can watch those shorts on my YouTube or Instagram or TikTok. Now I'm going to train for the next 49 weeks, going through each phase of the OPT model. I'm going to make day X of training for the standards and developing logbook vlogs for Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And then I'll make standards training year 1, phase X, workout YZ, YouTube videos to comprehensively document the entire OPT model. This is to promote the use of my programs on Everfit and fund the development of Logbook, an app that has been my purpose for many years now. Everfit is essentially Logbook Lite. So this is what my daily routine is going to look like. Wake up and pray, AM routine, and I'll break down these smaller routines once I get into Everfit, Bible study, meal number 1, pre-workout routine, aerobic training, post-workout routine, meal number 2, and then some peak performance, pre-workout breathing. I'm going to work on developing logbook, and then some post-workout breathing, meal number 3, pre-workout routine, anaerobic training, post-workout breathing, meal number 4, Bible study, PM routine, pray, and go to sleep. Simple stuff. This is what the YouTube videos are going to look like. So this is the daily vlogs in short form. content. This will be the YouTube videos. So we'll do an intro talking about the morning cardio overview, what I had for my pre-workout meal, and what's up for the training session of the day. I'll show a little bit of the pre-workout routine, then warm up, activation, core and balance, plyometric and conditioning, and then calisthenic, hypertrophy, strength, or power, depending on what phase we're on, secondary movements, tertiary movements, cool down, post-workout routine, and then post-workout meal. We'll talk about how the session went. So let's look at the OPT model. You can see the phases right here. I'm going to go back to this spreadsheet. So we've got phase 1, stabilization, endurance. This is what I'm about to do. The main factors of this phase. So we want to improve muscular endurance, neuromuscular efficiency, and intermuscular coordination. We're going to be doing 2 to 3 sets, 12 to 20 reps, 4, 2, 1, 1 tempo. And as you progress, you can see the next phase is strength endurance, where we have the same goal as stabilization endurance. We're just going to make it a little bit harder. We're going to start incorporating supersets. We're going to bring the reps down. We're going to make the tempo a little bit faster. And the cardio is going to go from low intensity steady state to long interval and tempo. And then once we get into muscular endurance, this is essentially bodybuilding. So our focus is going to be on building muscle. We're going to be doing 3 to 6 sets of 6 to 15 reps at a 3-0-1-0 or 3-1-1-1 tempo. Increased weight, decreased reps, volume training, focusing on multiple sets with high to moderate reps. Cardio is going to continue to get more intense and at shorter intervals. Then we've got strength, maximal strength. This is based on the juggernaut method. So we're going to be doing 16 weeks, 4 phases within this phase. And we'll be doing 3 to 7 sets. And then really 1 to 10 reps because it's 10's wave, 8's wave, 5's wave, 3's wave. So focus is going to be on moving as much weight as possible. We're gonna make our joints really strong. We're gonna work on the strength. We're gonna continue to work on the strength of our joints and just our overall endurance. Then we're gonna build our muscle bigger, and then we're gonna make our muscle as strong as possible. And then we're gonna bring it all together in phase 5, power. This is gonna be pretty much a weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting phase, 3 to 5 sets, 1 to 5 reps, explosive tempo. And strength will probably do more of a 1-1-1-1 tempo. And the cardio in the last phase is going to be high intensity interval training. So this is essentially what the OPT model looks like. I'm going to show you also what stabilization endurance looks like. So this is back end. For my stabilization endurance, I'm going to be doing 4 sessions, 4 different workouts, 2 times per microcycle. So I'm essentially going to be doing lower pull, lower push, upper push 2 times. So it's not going to line up perfectly with the weeks, but it doesn't really matter. And you can see week 1, we're doing 12 reps at 6 RPE. And so that's going to look like, ideally, you pick a weight for 12 reps. In this one, you do it for, in the first session, you do it for 12. Second session, you do it for 13. Week 2, we're doing 14 to 15. Week 3, 16 to 17. And this whole time, RPE is increasing by 1/2 every week. Week 4, we got 18 reps and going up to 3 sets. And then finally on week 5, we've got 3 sets, 20 reps, 8 RPE. Within each of these workouts, we're doing everything that the muscle can possibly do. So we've got our joint protocol activation warm up, um, ankle or wrist internal and external rotation, knee or elbow internal or external rotation, hip and shoulder internal and external rotation. And then we've got core. Over the week, we're doing everything the core can do: flexion, rotation, extension, lateral flexion. And then for our primary movements, on lower pull, we've got hinge and thrust. Upper pull, we've got vertical and horizontal pull. Lower push, we've got squat and thrust. And upper push, we've got vertical and horizontal push. Secondary resistance is all about adduction and abductions. Tertiary resistance is flexion and extensions. And then we have our cardio. This is just like a blueprint of what the training looks like. But now I'm going to show you Everfit. So these are the habits that I was talking about, the routines that I was talking about. We've got the AM routine. This is going to be movement, breath, and drainage. And I have I start having my breakfast along with these. So first thing in the morning, I'll have electrolytes, and then I'll do movement. So this can be yoga, this can be a movement flow that I haven't put a video in here for yet, or it can be like a couple sets of max reps, calisthenics, whatever you want to do. Then you put the bone broth drink in the microwave and you do your breath work. I use coherence breath for this, and that's what a lot of these videos are from. But there's some other good practices in here also. You finish that, you start sipping on the bone broth while you do the lymphatic drainage. You can watch all these videos to learn how to do everything, and then I'll eat my breakfast. And then we've got training, which I'll show in here in a second. The post-workout routines are just post-workout vortex, 10 minutes of breath work to go from fight or flight to rest and digest. And then the PM routine is yoga, breath, drainage, cooling it back down. So I'm going to show you my setup. So starting tomorrow, I don't know how this got all out of order. So starting tomorrow, I'm going to be doing my aerobic training in the morning, 2 mile run to start out, stabilization, endurance. Then I'll do a post-workout routine, eat. I showed you that whole day. And then we've got anaerobic training in the afternoon. And this is the back end on the computer. It looks a lot more native on the app. So this week we're finding the first session of this week, we're finding a weight that is appropriate for 12 reps at 6 RPE or 4 reps in reserve with perfect form. Plan on using this weight for the duration of the phase, increasing by 1 rep per session. Expect to do 1 to 2 fewer reps per set at the appropriate weight in RPE. And these are the exact same workouts from over here. And then the second session of the week, using the weight you found in session 1, perform exactly 13 reps on this on set 1. Yeah. Using perfect form and remaining at 6 RPE or 4 reps in reserve with perfect form. If you feel you can perform more reps, assess performance on set 2. If you perform the same number of reps on set 2 as you did in set 1, consider increasing weight by the smallest increment available in the next session. If you're unable to match or exceed performance from session 1 for this exercise, consider lowering weight slightly to match rep progression. Expect to do 1 to 2 fewer reps per set at the appropriate weight in RPE. Once I develop logbook, that's all going to be automatic. But that's what this is all about. Building logbook, having fun along the way. So I'm building out an updated version of the OPT model, but if you use this you'll so there's already a whole OPT model. Stabilization, endurance, strength, endurance, muscular development, maximal strength, power. I'm really only updating stabilization, endurance, and muscular development, but I'll keep the original versions in there and just add the updated version. So also in Everfit, there's a power section with a whole weightlifting program, some plyometric workouts, a conditioning workout, CrossFit, and Transformer, which is a workout that I made up. We've got strength, and in here you have the Juggernaut method by itself. You have 5-3-1 method. This is just a strength training workout template and all exercises. We've got hypertrophy. So in here, we've got uh, just a 16-week hypertrophy program that's volume landmarks style. For calisthenic, um, we have the anaerobic portion of the NSW physical training guide and some calisthenic template workouts. And then there's the aerobic portion of that same program. And then there is the health library with all the breathwork, yoga, drainage, meditation, joint protocol are cool. These are incorporated in the stabilization endurance program, and they will be in muscular development too, but otherwise you'll have to go do them as you need them. This is the whole on-demand library. I'm gonna make it so that you can just do the OPT model and get everything you need out of your training. I'll be adding this new stabilization endurance to it as I go along. That is Everfit. So we got the daily routines, daily habits. Um, so that's daily habits are these. So you get body composition every day. There's some weekly ones. This one's right at the beginning. Link MyFitnessPal, set calories and macros, groceries and meal prep, standards progress. So if you fill this out, I'll make you a spot on the leaderboard in one of these player cards. And then progress photos once a week also. And then your daily habits are AM routine, training, post-workout routine, nutrition, PM routine. For nutritional guidance, there are resource collections, specifically nutrition. So you can simply read about my nutrition practice in here, how to set, track, and adjust energy intake. Um, Everything that you need from here will be prompted to you through the tasks, but you can always go look in your on-demand. And there's also a link to this standards leaderboard, some instructions. Um, this will take you to a Notion website talking all about the standards. Another standards progress form if you ever want to fill it out again. And then there's the library with AM and PM journals, and then a bunch of books. Like there's some programs in here from the app. Yeah, just some resources that I think are cool. And then the training programs showed those. So the last thing is the based Lego store. So here on the base Lego store, you can get access to everything I showed you on Everfit. And you can read all about the programs, everything that is in here. You can read more about me, my star sign, my coaching philosophy, whatever. Um, Certified. Click on logbook You can read more about it. I pretty much covered all of this already. And if you pay $27 a month, you even get a free trial. You can get access to the OPT model and all of these resources. Once you sign up, you'll be put onto this logbook autoflow. So every day you'll have these workouts and these tasks and habits. You'll be able to go to your on-demand library to assign yourself the OPT model or any other program that you choose to use, and you will be able to train for the standards also. I want to fill up this leaderboard. So once we get to 33 people, I'm going to pick one or some people to get free subscriptions for life to Logbook Lite, which is Everfit, and then eventually the full version of Logbook. And I've done a bunch of rounds of development on it already using Cursor. So I'm going to kind of start fresh and document that as I do it, and I'll put a link on here to view the progress. There's also a link on the base Lego store to the standards and leaderboard spreadsheet. You can join the leaderboard by filling out the standards assessment, the same one that's within Everfit, but you don't have to be a member to join the leaderboard. You can book a call to talk about one-on-one training, and that would look something like we work together on Everfit and we get more personal about programs and nutrition training and communication. And then the last link on here is to Coherence, the breathwork app. And that is the whole presentation that I have. I will begin my training tomorrow, doing the daily vlogs and the daily training YouTube videos. Cool. Okay, this is the introduction to the standards. Go check out any of the stuff in here on the base Lego store. The link will be in the description. Follow along on Instagram for a more personal look at all of this. I'll be posting the daily vlogs and the training sessions here on YouTube, but my story on Instagram is really where I like talk the most personally. But yeah, that's it. Let's let's get in the most ideal shape humanly possible and get after it. See you there.